We should go here another day.
Do you like this museum? Yeah. I had a feeling you would like this museum.
You're gonna tell us about this cool
Tell the
open
tale
air,
of the Open Air Museum.
Openluchtmuseum.
Museum. So in 1912, Frederick Hofer or Hoffner?
Frederick Hofer, I think.
Frederick Hofer had the idea to start a museum that preserved a lot of like the traditional pieces of architecture, craftsmanship, all sorts of stuff, because times were starting to change and a lot of those regionalities were being lost. So they chose a location and they started moving historical buildings to it, and now we have the Open Air Museum.
This is an absolutely massive museum in terms of area, covering roughly 44 hectares, just shy of the size of Vatican City. So a lot of people we've talked to suggest staying 2 days here. They also sell the museum cart here, which gets you into a long list of museums throughout the Netherlands for €75 for adults, so basically 3 to 4 museum visits in a year, and you'll be breaking even.
That they sit right there and the wheel turned around that thing and they made this.
That is really cool. They made that sheeple into yarn, huh?
That is also pretty something cool.
You want to know what a roof like that's called?
Yeah.
It's called thatch. Pretty cool.
I want to see how those guys are building the thatched roof.
We're excited.
Ashley, right here it's wattle and daub. That's what they use. Yeah. So not Adobe.
Well,
Wattle and daub. Is it
California,
called Adobe?
It's called Adobe.
So I guess wattle and daub is very
Wattle and
similar.
daub is the European
Adobe.
equivalent. It's
Yeah.
mud and straw.
So what is this?
It's an oil mill, so I think it's how they made like linseed oil.
It's kind of oil. That's how they see that oil.
Linseed oil, huh? What is linseed oil used for?
It's used for like wood preservation. I don't know what else it's used for.
Okay.
That's like what we use, like modern use would be. I don't know what they used it for back then. That's just been like a common oil source. But it had a horse-driven component here. And then this is like, must be how they like finalized getting it. I haven't been able to listen yet.
Yeah. Farmhouse from 1600 that's been converted. Super cool with all these old beams, old woodwork, but then redone in a really nice modern style. This would be a cool project. Super cool.
Sawmill. So the power from it cut all the logs. Pretty neat.
So I think that went around and then it reached down and then that piece cut down.
Well, I don't think it was this part that cut on. This is the part that caught the wind. But I think inside the windmill, I bet there's a saw that goes back and forth like that.
That's a drawbridge.
A drawbridge?
This whole bridge is a drawbridge. The boats even had to pay, and if you guys were walking on this bridge, you still had to pay.
So there was a man, right, who charged tolls to people.
Kind of like a troll.
Yeah. Pennies. It would have been 4 pennies for me to carry you over the bridge, Andreas.
How much does it cost for a boat to go under it?
A flavor. Flavor. And then if there's like a mast that doesn't lay down, it's a different price.
Hey guys, they're really big.
What's this little area model then?
So this is a model of the Zon region, or like Zon neighborhood.
I smell the pancakes!
You smell the
smell the pancakes. Should we go get some?
Yeah.
All right, pancake time. Talk about the Zanzerschwans
Yeah,
later.
or more familiar with Zanzerschwans.
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 Which we've been to before. This is almost less crowded.
Ah! All of a sudden, pancakes got really, really popular here. And it was like a cool, trendy place for you to sit and eat and have a snack. So people that were wealthy, they did it kind of as like a social thing. So this area is kind of modeled after a pancake stall from like 200 years
So
ago.
we would get this.
That's just for you.
Those ones are just for you, huh? Might get a little bit messy.
Oh, really good.
Better than the ones from Lidl.
Oh my gosh. We should order.
I guess the only ones we've ever had are from Lidl
Yeah,
before,
we
right?
haven't gone out for poker days before.
Yeah. So surprisingly, the fresh ones are better than the ones from Lidl.
Had ropes that would go from here all the way down to the boat, the water. And then big sticks would get stuck in here. And then people would walk the sticks around in circles. And slowly it would pull the rope up. And it would pull the boats up with the rope. Yeah, so this is a working little shipyard from Marken, which was an island. And basically they would just haul ships up and like scrape the barnacles and shells off of them. And there were a couple, this little building right here, the Fisherman's House, is also from Marken. What's kind of cool is a lot of the men that lived in these areas, they would go out on ships for really long periods of time, and they would be bored on the ships. So they started decorating wooden clogs with really intricate patterns. So that's where some of that tradition comes from, which I didn't know. So you like
Oh, we had a lot of tasty looking stuff in that
that
bakery.
guy has like raisins and stuff in it.
That's apple raisin brudja. Really good. So Ashley, I guess they did laundry in here once or twice a year, but only the rich people. So nobody else got to
Twice
do.
a year.
Can you
Imagine if you only wash your clothes once every 3 or 6 months, Andreas.
Can you imagine that? Your
How
clothes
dirty
every.
do you think you would be? Look at your clothes after half of a day.
Yeah, I don't know how to do
You
that.
already got a butter stain.
Guys, I think this, how dirty I will be, is as dirty as the leaves.
That's dirty. I mean, I think so. So, this was a company that used to take people and stuff before we had cars. It would transport it in wagons. So like people would go in one sort of wagon, it's called a stagecoach, and then stuff would go in like this kind of a wagon. So like fruit or wood or whatever you needed to buy, right?
Mommy,
Yeah,
this was actually real long time ago.
it was a long time ago. So this is the warehouse where they would store all of this stuff.
Usinger. The tram ride and reconstructed tram station are some of the must-see highlights of the museum. Constructed in 1996, the track has 6 stops around the park with tramcar replicas from a few different cities, including a 1929 replica of the one from Arnhem. Even more impressive is the large team of volunteers that keep the trams up and running. Bye-bye, tram!
Freya. So it's a cheese and butter factory. So we'll park our stroller outside and we'll go inside and check it out. Yeah,
lot of steps to making milk and cheese.
Mommy, what is this?
You can do like cheese shaping machines.
What do you make this for, guys?
It's some part of making cheese to shape it.
No. This is
Ham, Gouda, and cheddar.
give it.
This is what gave the whole building its power to run all those machines. That's pretty cool, huh?
Final verdict.
I mean, it's an awesome museum. If you have kids, it's a great museum. As an adult, it's a good museum. There's lots of people like reenacting and doing like historical demonstrations. So plenty of information, but also you can seek the information out. You don't have to sit there and go through every exhibit to really get something out of it.
We clearly ran out of time, but one of the things I would have liked to see is the Canon of the Netherlands, which is basically the school curriculum for Dutch history and culture, with 50 topics starting from the Dolmens in 3000 BC all the way up to the Netherlands within the European Union. I would have liked to see it, but I'm not sure it really would have entertained an energetic 3-year-old. And where every day ends up, Ashley, where does every day end?
Playground.
Where does it end, begin, and somewhere in the middle?
The playground.